Hello there, this is Dr. Dane Donahue, and I'm going to do a brief overview of a wellness score presentation. A wellness score is a software that we've created along with Miles Bosden of Cash Practice, and this is something we've been using at a rudimentary level for the past 7 years in our office, and I have to tell you it's really changed the way that I practice. It's changed our practice. It's really allowed us to grow into a very large wellness center offering multiple services because we are able to evaluate patients beyond their symptomatic complaints. And I think if there's one issue that I've seen in my life as a chiropractor and as a chiropractic patient, I'm a third-generation chiropractor, and so I've been involved in chiropractic my whole 43 years, but as a chiropractor for 20 of them. But the big issue that I see facing chiropractors is to really establish yourself as something beyond a symptomatic doctor. In other words, most people go see a chiropractor for symptomatic complaints, neck pain, back pain, headaches. Most people aren't seeing chiropractors, or most people don't see chiropractors as a wellness specialist. And we are moving into a dimension of practice that we need to be wellness specialists. We need the public to recognize that we can help them change their health and change their physiology and get them on a road to better health. But we have to be able to show them that we can deliver on the goods. And that's what the wellness score has enabled us to do, is to really make sure that people recognize that we are the go-to wellness specialists in our community. And not only are we the go-to, but we can show them that we can change their physiology, and we can also do that in a way where there's accountability. So I'd like to kind of dig into the wellness score and show you what it is. We say the wellness score is the one score you cannot afford to fail as a person. And I always tell my patients of all the things that's important in their life, and I've asked them, and I always get the same responses. It's their family and their children and their spouse. It's their their relationship with their creator. It's their job for some people. It may be a cause for other people. But of all those things that are important, the most important thing is their own health, because without their own health, they don't do much good to their kids or their spouse or their job. So we have to make sure that people know that they have to be healthy, and to be healthy, they have to work at it. So we say in our office that physiology never lies. So to our patients, we say that, listen, your blood pressure is your blood pressure. Your x-rays are your x-rays. They're not emotional. They don't get upset. They just are. So we're going to measure your physiology, we're going to measure your wellness score, and then we're going to look for any deficits that need to be corrected. And by doing that, we'll be able to address your functional problems that are creating your symptomatic issues, instead of addressing your symptomatic issues long enough where they go away, but we don't really get to the underlying functional problem that caused the symptom in the first place, and so that returns at a later date. So physiology never lies. Another quote I love from Peter Drucker is, "What gets measured gets managed." So we're measuring people's physiology, so therefore we can also manage it, or we can suggest services in our practice to help them manage it. I've seen in the past 20 years the economic change in reimbursement, so it's important that we're moving towards a cash practice. And I think that's critical, that we offer services that people see the value and see the value of paying out of pocket for. And until they really recognize the value of chiropractic care, and so for some people that doesn't take long, they do recognize right now the value of things like personal training, and they recognize the value of nutrition. They recognize the value of somebody to help them with their stress. And by connecting with them based on something they already know and understand and already value, it enables you to establish a relationship where then you can show them the value of chiropractic care. And I'm telling you, this has made all the difference in our practice. We've grown our practice over the past 7 or 8 years by a factor of 3 or 4-fold, and we are now about 60% cash, and we've collected over $2 million the past 3 years in our practice, with over $1 million of it being cash. So this model works, and I want to show you why. So I want you to think back to when you were in school, high school, college, even grade school. How did it feel when you got an F? And I know that didn't feel good, and if you brought your report card home with any Fs to your parents, I know it particularly probably didn't feel good. And I want you to think about that for a second, because the same holds true for your patients. When you show them their wellness score and they're getting an F or getting a low score in a particular category, it's going to make them feel the effects of their physiology. So nobody wants to get an F, right? Particularly when it comes to something as important as your health. And so we have to understand that logic doesn't work with people, because if it did, everybody would be healthy. Nobody would smoke. Everybody would be working out. Everyone would be getting adjusted. Everyone would be healthy. But we know that's not the case. And so people don't make decisions based on what they know, because if they did, logic would win in the end and everybody would do the right thing. But the fact of the matter is people don't. So we have to recognize that people make decisions based on what they feel, right? So when you feel uncomfortable enough, you're going to make a change. And that's what the wellness score enables you to do with your patients. Get them to feel the effects of their weight. Get them to feel the effects of their subluxations. Get them to feel the effects of their sedentary lifestyle. And when they feel those effects, they're going to make a change. And I always say, think about standing naked in front of the mirror. Okay, for some people, that's a really, really scary proposition. But that's going to make you feel differently, and that's going to motivate you a lot more than looking at yourself in front of the mirror with all of your clothes on. So again, we have to motivate people to make different decisions, different behaviors, if you will, and the wellness score enables you to do that. So how do you get people to feel the effects of their physiology? Well, this is how you do it. In our practice, we have 2 wellness scores that we run. We run one that's called our new patient wellness score, and then we run one that's called our 8 weeks to wellness score. And really the only difference is one is geared toward more of our chiropractic patients, and one is geared more to our wellness patients. And they cross over. We have chiropractic patients that do 8 weeks to wellness. We have 8 weeks to wellness patients that come in having never had chiropractic care that go into a chiropractic model of care. So this is our wellness score for our new patients. And you can see we measure things like body mass index, and we do 4 core flexibility tests. We do 4 core strength tests. We do a diastolic pressure. We measure their medical symptom questionnaire. That's that MSQ. We also use the subluxation station, and we measure their NSFI, their neurospinal functional index. We use an osrestry score with our chiropractic patients to measure any disability related to pain syndromes. We also use a digital postural analysis. We measure their waist to hip, and then we also measure their x-rays based on phases of degeneration in their cervical, thoracic, and lumbosacral spine. This is our 8 weeks to wellness score that we do. And this is actually the wellness score that you're looking at right here. So this is an actual patient that came in recently to do our program. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this is the critical distinction of why this is such an important tool. This girl came in. She was 24 years old. She was 140 pounds and she was 5'4". She was not a grossly overweight person. She was referred by her mother. She was come to find in the history, she was very sedentary. She was on antidepressants and wasn't in a good emotional state. And when we ran her wellness score, her 8 weeks to wellness score, because her mom had done the program and she was referred to do the program, we saw that her overall wellness score was a D. So if you take a look at some of the things that really showed up in the red, her fasting glucose was 115. Her insulin was 26.7, and her insulin was 3 times higher, okay, than norm, right? We'd like to see somebody's insulin generally less than 7 or 8. So she was 3 to 4 times higher than what norm is for insulin. Her medical symptom score was high. We like to see that under 17. So you can see her phase angle is a reflection of cellular health based on bioimpedance that we run that captures not only the phase angle, but also captures her body fat. So she had a body fat of 26.5%, and the norm is 22.7. So you can see she scored an overall a D in her health, even though I looked at her and thought, wow, this girl probably doesn't really need the program. It wasn't until I ran her wellness score that I recognized that she really did need the program. She just didn't have the appearance, the outward appearance that she needed, because she didn't look like she needed to lose weight. But she certainly needed to increase her vitality, change her blood work, change her body composition, start getting adjusted. And she went from, in our program in 8 weeks, from a D to an A. And you can see all these areas that were questionable came back into balance. So her glucose, if you take a look at her insulin, she went from 26.7 to 4 just by changing her diet, getting her exercise, and getting her adjusted. Her phase angle went up. She improved in every single category, and we were able to show her definitely after 8 weeks that she improved her physiology, and her wellness score went from a D to an A. The other great thing about this is that we then send all of these reports to the patient's physician or any specialist. We've been able to establish a lot of relationships based on the wellness score we run and also based on the lab work that we run with medical doctors to show them that we can change our patients' health without the use of medications. So for those patients, and there are a lot of patients who want to change their health without having to go on drugs, this has been a great tool. I want to show you some of the categories. There are 4 categories that we've created in the wellness score, and you can use all of the parameters or some of the parameters. So you can custom create your wellness score with 40 parameters or 4 parameters. It's up to you, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But I just want to show you some of the parameters that we measure with General Health. These are some of the parameters related to your chiropractic neurospinal health, things like your foot levelers scan, your neurospinal functional index, your oswestry, your palpatory subluxation rating, your x-ray score, a digital postural assessment if you want to do that. We also have a category related to functional fitness, so things like core flexibility, or if you're familiar with FMS, the FMS screen is in here as well as a scoring system. We have a squat test, the VO2 max. All these have been referenced in the wellness score, and these are categories and biomarkers that you can use. And then finally, you'll see that we have 14 biometrics that are related to biochemical health. So we like to take a look at 3 categories in the biochemical health. We look at dyslipidemia. So we look at things like triglyceride to HDL ratio. We look at things like cholesterol to HDL ratio. We look at things like LDL, triglycerides. We then also look for any inflammatory markers. We use C-reactive protein, which is a measurement of inflammation in the body. And then finally, we look at dyslipidemia. And we basically look at 3 things: fasting glucose, fasting insulin, and hemoglobin A1C. It tells us a tremendous amount about how our patient is processing sugar, how much sugar they're eating, and how fast they're moving towards prediabetes or diabetes. So now I want to show you how you can register for the wellness score. You would go to Cash Practice. Now remember what I said, we've partnered with Miles Bodston, and Miles is a perfectionist when it comes to developing software. And so we've had a really nice marriage. We've been using Cash Practice for quite some time in our practice. So we use the Auto Drip, the Cash Plan Calculator, and the Auto Debit system in our practice, and it's been a great marriage, marrying the wellness score to measure physiology with a recommended care plan, with creating a cash plan and an auto debit system for our patients. So I now want to show you how you can sign up for the wellness score. I'm going to go to the Cash Practice website here. So when you log into Cash Practice, and I'm just going to do that right now, so you'll go to www.cashpractice.com, and maybe you'll want to do that right now if you're at a computer. And when you do, you'll see this screen show up. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to click this tab that says Join Today. And what you'll see is this screen, and you'll see the wellness score system is right here. Okay? If you want the wellness score system in conjunction with the Cash Plan Calculator and the Auto Debit and Drip Education System, you will just select that box. It would then come to $149 per month. Okay? Let's say that you didn't want the other modules, the other systems. You would just uncheck those. Okay? Or you can check 2. Just say you wanted the Auto Debit system. And you can learn more about these systems by visiting cashpractice.com or by contacting Cash Practice and talking to a customer service representative about what each of these systems do for your practice. Again, we use all 3, and they complement the wellness score very nicely. If you just want the wellness score, though, it's $49 per month. It includes 25 wellness reports per month. Each additional report after 25 is 99 cents. For the first month that you sign up for the wellness score, you get unlimited reports. And so this is where you want to test your wellness score system by creating reports on yourself, on your staff, on your patients, and there is no extra charge for creating more reports. But in month 2, you'll pay $49 for 25 wellness scores plus 99 cents for each additional score. Then you'll fill out step 2, okay, which is system licensing and any add-ons that you want to add. You'll then select your membership payment option, which is monthly, quarterly, or yearly. You'll then enter any promotional codes. If you've been given a promotional code, please use that here. That would give you a discount off the wellness score. Sometimes we run specials. You would then select next step, click OK. Okay, and what you'll see here is your charges. You have a one-time monthly membership of $49 plus a setup fee and a training fee of $24. So your first month for the wellness score is $73, and each month thereafter will then be $49. You'll click next step. It'll take you through step 3. You can fill out how you heard about us, what motivated you to join. This is where you fill out your membership information, your company name and company information, and then your billing preferences. You would then click the next step, which is step number 4, and then finally step number 5. Once you complete all the steps, which is self-explanatory, you'll be given the username and password. And when you go into the CashPractice system, you'll see a member login. And I'm going to log in right now to show you my membership. So now I'm logging into the members site. And you'll see up at the top here it says Wellness Score System, your cash plan calculator if you've purchased that, your auto debit system, how you use all of these, your manuals related to each one, how you use the DRIP education system. But let's say that you didn't order any of these systems. What you'll see here is clients. And this is where you would go to add a new client to perform a wellness score. So I'm going to add a new client here. Add new client. I'm going to go right here, and we're going to add Ed Smith. We can then enter all this information, but what we have to enter is the gender. So we're going to say Ed is a male. And then we can enter again all this information. You don't have to, but you can. And then you have to enter the birth date. So we're going to say Ed was born November 9th or 8th, and he was born in 1957. Okay? We can then, again, enter any custom information, any additional information that we want. Okay? And then we're just going to click on Save. So let's remember Ed Smith because we're going to bring him up in just a second. So now we go to the Wellness Score system. All right? And the first thing that I want you to do is to click on Settings, because this is very important to be able to custom create your wellness score. So I click on Settings, and you'll see at the top here, you need to ask yourself these questions. What do you want to measure? What services do you want to provide? And what do you want to score and recommend together? And I'll show you what I mean by that. We've created parameter sets, and basically our parameter sets are our wellness scores. So in our office, we have an 8 weeks to wellness score. We have a Wellness Solutions Center, WSC, new patient. Those are the 2 wellness scores we use in our practice. We've custom loaded some wellness scores so that you can start right out of the box if you want to use the custom wellness scores that we've created for you. Your basic functional wellness exam, a chiropractic only wellness score, a corporate screening wellness score, a general wellness 1 and a general wellness 2 wellness score. But most of you are going to want to custom create your own wellness score. And let's go here to say we want to custom create the Smithtown new patient wellness score. Let's say that's the name of your practice. So we put that in, we click Save. That will then save this information as a custom wellness score. Now we have not assigned any parameters yet. So all you will see here is the Smithtown wellness score. But now we need to add parameters because we don't have a wellness score yet. So I'm going to now add a couple parameters. Let's say I do a foot leveler scan. I'm going to add foot levelers. And you can custom add as many parameters as you'd like. That was just added, and you can see it here. Okay? I can delete it if I want. If I want to unassign that, I can click on that, and we'll delete that if I added something by accident. Let's say I want to do a functional movement screen. So I've just added that. That will be added to the Smithtown New Patient Wellness Score now. And then let's add one more. Let's add a chiropractic parameter. Let's say we want to add an X-ray analysis parameter. Okay. And I'm going to add one more because I want to show you a feature of one of the things that you can do. Let's say we also want to add posture. So now I've created a wellness score with 4 parameters, and obviously you're going to use parameters that you use in your office or technology that you use in your office. Make sure that you go through all the biomarkers to decide which one you want to use. Now if you look over here, I can delete this wellness score altogether. I can also rearrange the categories. So let me click on that, and I want to show you this. let's say that I want to make sure that my posture is the first thing I go over with the patient. Well, I'm just going to drag that up. Now that will be assigned first. Let's say X-ray is the second thing that I want to go over. So you can put your parameters in any order that you'd like. And that's important, especially if you have, let's say, laboratory values. You want to try to keep all those together to go over those at once, or all of your chiropractic biomarkers together to go over all those at once. So you can custom create that, and then that will save in your wellness score. The other thing that you can do is you can archive this. So let's say that I've changed my wellness score. I've been using it for a couple months, and all of a sudden I create a new wellness score. Well, you're going to have to create a new wellness score, and you don't want the Smithtown wellness score to show up in your general sets, okay, your parameter sets. So you can then just click on this button. That will then archive that, so that won't show up in your main parameter set screen or your wellness score screen. So that's been archived. So you'll see now if I go down, that doesn't appear anymore. If I wanted it to appear, all I've got to do is click on Show Archived at the top. That's going to show all the archived wellness scores that I've come up with. Okay, so any of the wellness scores, as you can see here, I've created Smithtown Wellness Score 3 times, and all of them I have re-archived now. Okay. The other thing is your parameters. These are all the custom parameters that we've loaded in. You know, again, everything from BMI down to laboratory values. But when you get an opportunity, please go through all of the wellness score parameters that we've created. They've all been researched and referenced. And again, you can custom create your own. So if we go down here, let's say we want to call this the XYZ parameter. Okay? I'm going to create that parameter because let's say there's a parameter that you use in your office that you don't see on the ones that we've given you. We can now custom create that, and you'll see here, should be down at the bottom. Usually these are, when you create a custom parameter, they show up at the bottom. So there's the parameter I just created, parameter 151, and now I can click on this button here, the pencil, and what that will do is then bring this screen up so I can title this XYZ parameter, you know, general. Okay, let's say it's in units of foot-pounds. Okay, and if I want to put in a reference here, I can put in a reference, any type of book or any type of reference that you have on where you got the data for your parameter. And then I can put in a parameter explanation here or description. This will show up when you print up your wellness score for your patients of why you measure this parameter and what the normal reference ranges are. So when we've created the ones for you, you'll see that on the wellness score listed as waist to hip ratio. Waist to hip ratio is a measurement of belly fat. The larger the percentage, the more belly fat you have, or the larger the ratio. A normal male waist to hip is 0.95 or less. A normal female waist to hip is 0.85 or less. So this is where you would include the description. And then also, you would also need to modify the data table. So you would need the data to custom create the ratings. So for this score here, you would need to put in what is a 10? You know, what's the best rating a person can have? What's the worst rating a person can have? And there are custom tutorials that will teach you how to custom add a parameter. So if you have any questions, please review the tutorial on custom parameters on how to add them. I'm going to close out of this. The next thing you're going to want to do is to go up to the top and ask what you provide. And again, you'll see here that we've created a DANES service group and a wellness service group. The Wellness Solutions Center, the WSC service group, are some of the things that we offer in our practice. And so you'll want to custom create that as well. And again, you can just add a new service group, right? We're going to call this the Smithtown Services Service Group. And I'm going to create that, save that. And just like you did for custom creating your parameter set or your wellness score, you would then just need to add services to that. So there's my Smithtown Wellness Score. I would then add services. And these are all the services that we've loaded in there for you. But let's say that you don't see a service that you offer that's not listed in the wellness score. You can add it here. Just go to Services, go down to the bottom, add XYZ service, save that, that will custom be saved. You'll see it in here. Again, should be listed. There it is. Okay. So if I went back and added this, I could add this to my service group. I pull up my service group, and there's my Smithtown service group, and then I can add XYZ service to it. Now the reason that's important is when you custom create your wellness score, you're going to want to go back and recommend services based on that wellness score. I'll show you that in just a minute. And then finally, you can then add your parameters to your categories. So your categories are the different categories that we've assigned for you. Okay, a functional fitness category. You'll see it's explained in the wellness score. It's an indication of how well you're moving your body. A functional nutritional assessment. This is an indication of how well you're eliminating toxins from your body. A general health category. This is an indication of how well you're aging, your risk for developing chronic disease. And then finally, a chiropractic neurospinal health category, which is an indication of how well you're adapting to your environment around you, which is obviously reflected in the health of their nervous system. So we've added the parameters to these different categories, and you can assign services to your categories. And I'll show you that in just a second. So once you've decided what you're measuring, what your parameters are in your wellness score, what services you're providing in a service group that you're going to create, you then can run exams. And I want to show you how to do that. To enter a client, again, you'll do exactly what I told you to do earlier, is you're going to add that new client, okay? And if you remember, we added Ed Smith. So now we're going to run an exam set. Let's run our basic new patient, and Ed Smith should be in there. There he is, Ed Smith, okay? We're going to run the exam set. You'll see here, select service group. I'm going to select my service group that I normally use, which is the Wellness Solution Center service group right here. And I'll show you why that's important in a second. And your units are going to come up here. So if you already know, and you usually don't know until you've created the wellness score, you can enter their services right here. How many adjustments? So you can enter 24 adjustments over a 3-month period of time. Let's say you want to do 20 trainings in a 2-month period of time, and let's say a pair of orthotics in the course of their 3-month care plan. Okay? We can then enter their data. Let's say Ed is 6 feet tall. He weighs 240 pounds. His diastolic pressure was 90. His BMI was, let's say, 29. His waist to hip ratio, let's say, was 0.91. His oswestry was 24. His MSQ was 23. He passed all 4 of the core flexibility tests, but failed 2 of the core strength tests. Let's say his NSFI was 78. He had 13 degrees of deviation in his posture. And let's say that he scored a 5. He had 5 phases of degeneration in his spine, cervical, lumbar, and thoracic. Let's say he was 2 in his cervical spine, phase 2 degeneration, phase 1 in his thoracic, and phase 2 in his lumbar. That's how he came up with that number. We would save that. And then this is where you go to view your wellness score. You click right over that little icon there, View Patient Summary Report. That will pull up, okay? And here's what you're seeing. I want to enlarge this so you can see this. At the top here, when you start your wellness score, you'll be shown how to put in your logo. If you go to membership information, there's an icon where you can upload your logo and obviously your practice information, and you'll see that ours is uploaded here. You'll then see that the wellness score data has been registered here. That's Ed Smith, right? He's 54 years old. He's a male. And here's all the data that we just entered. His overall wellness grade was a C-. You can see where he's having trouble, or the red areas. And then his wellness score here is broken into different categories. So we have wellness category 1, which is functional fitness, a general health category, and then a neurospinal functional health category. So you'll see that he scored a C in his functional fitness, a D in his general health, and a C in his neurospinal health. And then you'll see this icon here we've put in there for you as an educational tool, and this shows you basically the healthcare continuum from life to death. We use this as an educational tool. to show a person where they are on this continuum. You know, if their functional fitness is a C, if we increase that, you'll see their overall wellness score is going to improve. If we grab that neurospinal health and we improve them through chiropractic adjustments, you're going to see their overall wellness score is going to increase. And we show them that, you know, nobody wants to be an F. An F is generally where you're on medication. It's where your health's affecting your quality of your life. Everybody wants to be over here. And this doesn't have to do with symptoms. It has to do with function. So most people base their health on how they feel, but true health is discerned by how someone functions. And the analogy that I give with patients is you can be perfectly healthy and a woman can walk into her doctor and be diagnosed with breast cancer. You can be perfectly healthy, in other words, you think you're healthy because you're asymptomatic, but you dropped out of a heart attack the same day. So health is not a reflection of being asymptomatic. Health is a reflection of functioning well. And then we have the 3 dimensions of subluxation, the physical stresses, the mental emotional stresses, and chemical stresses. So we go over that with our patients. And this is where you see the wellness score recommendations, chiropractic adjustments we put in, the fitness training, and the orthotics. You can add this after the fact. In other words, if you want to custom create your wellness score first and then take a look at it and base their wellness score on your recommendations, you can go back and then add your wellness score recommendations, and that's what we do in our office. Then we get the patient to fill out their name and then sign the wellness score. At the bottom of the wellness score, you'll see all the parameters that we measured, and you'll see an explanation of each parameter. So these are custom loaded in here for you already, and this is where the description would go that I showed you earlier if you're entering your own parameter. Okay, and that's the wellness score in a nutshell. It gets printed by just clicking over the logo and just clicking print, and you can just print that. If you want to email this, you can print this to file. So you can print this to a file, click OK, and that will print it to a file, and then you can email that file to your patient. Some print files print to Adobe. There are different print files, but you can print this to an output name, name that, and then email that to the patient. Okay, so that's your wellness score. I'm going to click out of there. You can compare your exams. I want to show you this. So let's say that I'm going to enter, I'm in here, I know that, and I have multiple exams. But let's say I want to compare a couple exams. I'm going to click on the sets that I have, and I want to compare this exam I created to this exam. We're then going to create a comparison report. Somebody's been under your care for 3 months. You did an initial wellness score, and then you redid their wellness score. So now you'll see a side-by-side comparison. Okay, and I went from a D- to a D-, which is not very good. But you'll see you do have the ability to compare side-by-side their pre and post. And this is what I showed you earlier when I showed you Jessica's 8 weeks in wellness score that had gone from a D to an A. Okay, so there's the ability to do comparisons. If we go back to our wellness score software, we can see that we can, like I said, enter clients here. And then I also wanted to show you where you can enter your logo. So if you go to My Account, this is the area where you can update your logo. You'll see here logo and picture. Okay, click on that, and you can browse and import your logo. It has to be below 200 kilobytes, but that's where you enter your logo and your information, so that will print up on your wellness score. So when you get a chance, just go through this information here so you have just a general understanding of your account information. And that's basically the wellness score in a nutshell. I can't tell you how excited we are to get this in your hands. So please start using this. Start creating a custom wellness score. If you have any questions, please call Cash Practice. We do ongoing tutorials to train you not only in how to use the system technically, but how we use it in our office and our consults and our exams and reported findings to really create value for your patients. I believe going forward and right now that your patients pay you in direct proportion to the value that you create for them. So when you're measuring their physiology and showing them where their deficiencies lie, and then you're offering a care plan that includes chiropractic care and other wellness-related services, and you can deliver on the goods of changing that wellness score, people will pay you out of pocket for your care. So this is Dr. Dane Donahue. I am going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please look for other tutorials on the Wellness Score so that you can learn more about this exciting software.